Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be with my friend Megan, and we actually met working at a festival which is SoundCity Liverpool this year. So today's video is actually going to be about that, about what roles we did, kind of how we met and that kind of thing. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, so we met
on the Friday, yeah?
Yeah, on the Friday, which was the conference bit. So obviously you probably never heard of SoundCity before, which is, it's like a festival really for up and coming bands.
Like bands that are not quite famous yet, they're kind of starting off.
Yeah, because the headliners were Loyal Connor and Mabel, so they're not hugely famous people, but they also have a conference, and that's where we met. I was supposed to be on Green Room and you were supposed to be...
Main stage stupid.
Oh yeah, you were, weren't you? Yeah, you were supposed to be, running. And then I was supposed to be running the Green Room, but...
Didn't do any running.
No. They actually ended up swapping us around a bit, so that's how we ended up meeting. I went to the conference last year as actually as an attendee, and it was only in the British Music Experience. And this year there was actually 2 different buildings, which was fun when Charlotte came to me really stressed out because they couldn't actually find some people. So she sent me off to find them, and I couldn't find them. And then I came back and it was like, oh, they're here now, never mind.
Yeah, because at the first room that we were mainly in, there was conferences going on, wasn't there? And then the second room we had people coming in to speak, so we had like the guy who did Spotify.
Oh yeah, I loved up sat on the back in that one.
See that.
Yeah, and then we were having to look after the stalls and making sure that everyone had what they wanted and that kind of thing. And then that was when we discovered we weren't working together on the Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah, we were in different spaces.
Well, yeah, because we had completely different roles. So were you a runner?
I was a runner.
You were a runner for the whole fest. I went on to artist accreditation at the weekend. We had to basically put together all the artist packs, so they had all the wristbands for all the artists that were performing at the festival. So you got to meet a lot of the artists. You got to meet a lot of the managers. I also got to run what they call run packs. So for people that were either turning up really late or were more major acts, we quite often took their packs to the venues. So I actually got to run packs to all three of the main stages. So I went to Hangar, which was actually where you were working. I went to the main stage. That was pretty cool. I actually got to go properly backstage at the main stage. And then I went to Constellations as well. So you worked in Hangar.
I did Hangar, which was the tiniest venue. I swear it was the smallest venue there.
No, it wasn't. Hangar 34 was one of the biggest venues.
I mean, the back wasn't when we were. It was like...
Oh yeah, the back was tiny, but the actual venue itself.
So I got there on the Saturday. He was like, I'll set up the equipment, and I do film, I don't do music equipment, so it was a bit like, how the hell do you put a drum kit together? If I mess this up, the whole thing is just gonna... We did that, and then it was just mainly me and this other girl were going up to the artists in their changing rooms, giving them bottles of water and alcohol. But it was good. I met a lot of artists.
Yeah. We
had to carry their bags in as well.
Yeah,
that was fun. A lot of artists don't like you carrying their bags in.
Yeah.
A lot like, no, we can do it, and some were really like, yeah, can you help
kit.
us? And it's really heavy.
I got to learn quite a lot of the terminology that they were using. Loading was when you were taking the artist's equipment in. I got to actually help with that once. Oh, this is probably the funniest story that I have from the festival. Basically, I almost got kidnapped. No, it wasn't quite like that, but because there are people from all over the world come and play this festival. So I think they were from Romania or somewhere like that kind of area. So they had a hire car, and we're trying to communicate where their stage is. So we worked in the canteen, which was for the crew and all of the artists to eat in. But yeah, so everyone came into us and got their pack. I knew where their venue was. Not many of the people I was working with knew. Our manager turned to the band, or I think it was their roadie, and turns to them and goes, do you have room in your car for one of our volunteers? And the guy goes, yes. So I end up in this guy's car, driving around Liverpool, trying to give him instructions to where he needs to go, with all the road closures that were in place for the festival. So I'm trying to direct him. And then we pull up, and he's like, okay, so now what? And I'm like, well, here's your venue. I'm not told what we were supposed to be doing or anything. So I just used my common sense, and I was like, I'll go see if you can load. So I walk into the venue and it's tiny, but it's packed. There must have been like over 100 people in this like tiny little bar, and I was, oh no, here we go. So I go to the volunteer on the door who's checking wristbands. I go, where's your stage manager? Because they're the people who know whether or not we need to load, whether we can load, because some of the venues had room to preload, which basically means putting the equipment before the band's ready to go. And a lot of them, you could only put in the equipment like an hour before they're set. So I needed to go and find the stage manager. So I'm like, where's your stage manager? And the guy's like, can't miss him, long ginger hair. Could I find this guy in this venue? No, it's pitch black. So I eventually find another volunteer that I met.
Imagine if you went long black hair.
I know. I found a volunteer that I'd met on the Friday, and I was like, where's your stage manager? And she's going, I don't know. So I was like, come with me. So let's try and find him, because you know what like he looks like. And then we come across the guy who's not the stage manager, but he's the sound engineer. So I go to him, can we load? And he goes, yes. And I'm like, oh god. So we go back to the car. So this is the only time that I really got to handle anyone's equipment. The band that are playing like quite a heavy metal band. So there's people kind of like jumping around, and I'm holding a bass in a soft case. So it's not even in a hard case, so if you drop it, there's no protection whatsoever. So I'm going, oh no. So I'm like, move out of the way, bass coming through. I was literally like screaming at all these people. And then I had to like direct him. I didn't know where the car parks were, so he was like, where can we park? And I was like, I don't know. He's like, can't we park back down at Fodder? And I was like, no, I don't think so. Turns out they could, but anyway. So I was like, I don't know, but I need to go back to where I'm supposed to be. So he drives me like back down, and as he's coming back down, he comes to park and he knocks the wing mirror off the car. But anyway, we survived. I did not get kidnapped. I loaded a band. I was actually helpful. I think that was probably actually one of the highlights of my weekend working. That's another thing about SoundCity, is all the stages are kind of venues rather than them being like in a massive field and you just go from like, you know, like Glastonbury. The main stage was outside. There was like another stage that was outside, but then pretty much all the others were in venues. So like Constellations as a venue itself had 3 stages. Hangar was one. That's like a club in I think they're all like clubs mainly, or like kind of music venues, or like bars and stuff.
I ID'd for Black Sax.
Oh yeah, I remember that. You were in Hangar.
The Hangar is obviously, it's got a bar, and we had to clean up the dressing rooms before the next act came, and we had to go and ask for Black Sax behind the bar, and she couldn't make out that I was saying I need Black Sax, and she kept asking me for ID, and I was like, I work here, I need Black Sax. And so someone else had to come over and give it to me.
Yeah, should we talk about our shifts now?
I don't remember mine.
Friday we both worked.
Sorry, Friday was a conference, wasn't it?
Yeah, Friday it's 9:30 till like 5:36.
It was about 6 the conferences ended, but then we had the drinking and the party, because we had the party. So it was about 9ish.
I don't think it was that late.
I got back to my place at 9. So we must have done for about 8ish.
Oh yeah, maybe. You walked back with me.
Because I walked you back.
Yeah. Because I was staying at a hotel because I don't live in Liverpool, and you're at uni in Liverpool, so you're actually staying there.
Saturday I did, I think it was 1 till 7, that was it. And then on Sunday it was 7 until midnight.
Yeah, or till like 1 AM, but you got off earlier.
Day for me was the busiest, because it was 7 till 1. But I was in my venue till about 10, and then something was going on with Levi's.
Oh yeah, they had like an after party.
So I then had to sit outside in the freezing cold.
It was so cold. For me, it was freezing.
To get the money off people.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, because that was pretty typical. The people who were actually working at venues worked 1 till 7, unless some of the venues started at about like 11:30 in the morning, but most of them started around about 1 kind of thing.
Yeah.
So most of the shifts started at 1 and went till 7, and then they had the evening shift that was like 7 till like 12 or like 1. Because I was working artist accreditation, we obviously had to be open earlier, so I actually worked. So I actually had quite a good shift on Saturday. I worked to 10 till 3 on, so that meant I could go eat lunch afterwards. Yeah, and then on the second day I worked I worked 3. So there was 2 shifts for artist accreditation. You were either on the early shift, which was 10 till 3, or you're on the late shift, 3 till 8. So both shifts were 5 hours. it was actually really good. There was 2 teams of 3, so I was with the same people both days. We got to get together, and it was really good because with the artist accreditation, we met up afterwards, after the first day and after the second day as well. But we obviously had several hours to kill before you got off shift. So me and the 2 girls I was working with, we went around the venues. So I actually got to see quite a lot of bands. A few bands that I wanted to watch the whole set for, one of which my manager was an actual babe. So I wanted to go and see this band called Dancing on Tables. I found them off the off the list. I fell in love with their music, and basically I really wanted to go and see them, but their set finished 15 minutes after I was due to start to work. So I went earlier on and begged my manager to let me go and watch their set, and she was like, yeah, that's fine. So I got to go and watch them. So I watched their whole set. I saw that both the headliners, you only got to see one because you were working.
I got to see Sophie and the Giants, which I only looked them up because when they said about having an interview, because we had to have an interview for SoundCity, I was like, right, I'm going to be really impress them and look at some of the artists.
That's what I would do!
So Sophie and the Giants were the only ones that I actually thought, okay, these are quite good. So I wanted to...
But yeah, I got to see Mabel and Loyal Kana, and then I got to see a few others and Dancing on Tables.
I fell in love with a Liverpool band called Wide Eye Boys.
Yeah.
Go and check them out.
And then in the morning of the day before, I think that shift was the worst shift, although it was quite good because we got off to see like the headliners. The Sunday shift was the worst shift because most of the bands didn't start playing until like 12, 1 o'clock maybe. Like, so when our shift starts at 3, you don't really have a lot of time. A lot of the bigger bands, like the ones you actually wanted to see, started about like 2:30, 3 o'clock, and that was when our shift started, and we had to check in at 2:30 as well. So we went and checked in, and then we went to go and see some more bands, and then obviously I went to see Dancing on Tables. But I think that was the worst thing, was like I couldn't go and see a lot of the bands that I wanted to see. Yeah. I
really wish our wristbands would allow us to ditch the queues, because the amount of times we spent in the
especially like the Loyal Kana ones was like, maybe it wasn't too bad, but we had to like watch. Maybe we would have got in if we turned.
Freezing.
Yeah, it was freezing. We would have been able to get in though if we turned up for her set, but we turned up earlier to get like food. But it was really cold, because it was outside. And then Loyal Kana, we got off shift. Me and my friend, because we both wanted to go and see them, literally ran up to like where we signed in and out. Got like all of that sorted, ripped off our t-shirts, went to like thing, and there was already a queue, like there was a queue past the queuing system that they'd already put in place. It was past there, and I knew like one of the security guards, like the one who was really friendly to us the day before. So we were saying to him like, we better get into this, like we've been on shift for 5 hours, and he was like, no, you'll get in, but like the people behind you might not. So yeah, I think that was the only thing like I think I would change. It was amazing though. It was an amazing experience to definitely work backstage at a festival, I think.
The best thing for me was finding out what kind of music I liked.
Yeah.
I think, because I went in there thinking, I'm not into music that much. Like I listen to it, but
yeah,
it's not like major for me, you know?
Yeah, I think that was the thing as well for me. I always thought that, I liked the mainstream, like I liked Mabel, that kind of thing. But actually I found like that I did like some more alternative sounds. Like I found out I like a lot more, I still love my pop, but at the same time I love more alternative styles. Definitely, and I can't wait to start going to like some other gigs as well. Definitely, it was a really good experience, and if you're thinking of like volunteering at a festival, I definitely say do it. But just be wary that you don't always get all the downtime that you think you're gonna get. Like you get the reward of the free, like, we had free festival wristband tickets, but, like we said, we didn't get queue jumped. Like, you don't, unless you're in a backstage role, you don't get backstage. Like, you don't get all the privileges you think you might get, like, working at a festival. And, obviously, like, SoundCity isn't too bad because most of the venues were inside, but if it rains, you're getting wet and you're not even getting to enjoy the music. So no. I definitely say, like, if you're into music and you're thinking of doing it, do it, because it's a really good experience. But yeah, it's not all it's cracked up to be. You also don't get paid. Some festivals do pay you, most don't, especially if you're a volunteer, because you're volunteering. So I forked out quite a bit of money to stay in a hotel room because it was on bank holiday weekend in May. So I forked out quite a bit for a hotel room because I didn't obviously know anyone who was doing it. So again, you might end up quite out of pocket for doing it. But anyway, I think that's pretty much sums up all of our experience. This video has been a little bit of a mess. It's probably gonna be a lot of editing needed, but I hope you enjoyed today's video. Like it if you did, subscribe if you haven't already, and I guess comment down below if you've ever worked at a festival or what festival you'd like to work at if you ever did.
Subscribe to me.
Oh yeah,
Megan Williams.
Megan Williams, she's got her own channel.
Do short films for uni.
Yeah.
So subscribe.
Check her out. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.